Welcome, brothers and sisters, to Mormon Movie Reviews, where LDS movie lovers belong. I'm your humble host, D-Bays, and today is March 24th, 2023. This is episode 84, where we will review Mr. Krueger's Christmas, released in 1980. This has a running time of 25 minutes. It's not rated, and it's a fantasy. This review works best if you've seen this film before, though that is not required, and a spoiler alert. Now, we will watch this short in totality together while I provide some insightful and occasionally irreverent commentary.
Sorry about the floor.
That's all right. For a Christmas tree, I'll sleep twice.
Legendary actor James Stewart plays Willy Krueger, a widowed apartment janitor who lives in a basement flat with his cat George. On a cold Christmas Eve, he daydreams to escape his lonely life. He muses about being a man of culture and means, an ice dance at Temple Square, a sleigh ride, as well as the conductor of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and also imagines himself in the stable with Mary, Joseph, and the infant Jesus. Let me know your thoughts on this film by sending me a message to mormonmoviereviews@gmail.com. Now, this is based on the story by Michael McLean, who also directed this short.
Is that what you want Santa Claus to bring you for Christmas?
Sure, Gramps. It's either that or an official Red Ryder carbine action 200-shot range model air rifle. You'll shoot your eye out. Mr. Krueger doesn't donate. I guess he's saving his mite for Ensign Peak. Smart move, buddy. It's the only investment fund guaranteed to save you from flesh-devouring apocalyptic fire. Now here's the first of Mr. Krueger's many hallucinations. Hey, didn't Jesus say, lay not up for yourselves treasures on earth where moth and rust doth corrupt and where thieves break through and steal? And there's also this saying that says that you can't put lipstick on a pig. Come on, Mr. Krueger.
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
So, James "Jimmy" Stewart was born in 1908. He's an American actor known for his distinctive drawl and everyman screen persona. His film career spanned 80 films from 1935 to 1991. Now, he was only 72 when this film was released, 16 years younger than Russell M. Nelson. Now, wait a minute. He's donating to the Salvation Army Church? That's not the stone cut out of the mountain without hands. Hey, no so-called trendy tithing, Mr. Krueger. Now, most of this film was shot in Salt Lake City, Utah.
That'll be $4. Merry Christmas.
Now, this scene has always bothered me. I was always taught that you needed to pay your tithing before you buy your Christmas tree. I guess those windows of heaven are going to stay closed.
To you too, George. Merry Christmas.
Now, this scene has always bothered me. I was always taught that you need to pay your tithing before you buy your Christmas tree. I guess those windows of heaven are going to stay closed.
Merry Christmas to you too, George. I like that tree.
Now, George the cat reminds me of Wilson the volleyball in Tom Hanks' Castaway movie.
There you go. No, easy, no. Enjoy it. It's your Christmas Eve dinner, you know.
Now, if we pause that, we see that it says White Christmas Mormon Tabernacle Choir. But we're going to have to rename that. It's going to have to be renamed to White Christmas, the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Boy, that just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? And this is a real Christmas album that was released by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir back in 1977. It features such selections as White Christmas, Silver Bells, and I'll Be Home for Christmas.
Christmas, Martha.
Now, folks, I did some digging here, and I'm pleased to report that that is a picture of Martha Fielding Krueger, Willy's second polygamous wife, who died 4 years before this film was shot. The most heartwarming part about her life story is that according to her diaries, which were recently released by the church archives as part of the Joseph Smith Papers project, that even though Martha was just Willy's second plural wife, she never felt like a second wife. She always felt like his first wife. And that's a real testimony builder for me. Now, Stewart said that he had a lifelong dream of leading the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, which he fulfilled during filming. And film director Keith Merrill remembered Stewart's hesitancy prior to this particular scene and let me quote here. Keith, I realized I needed professional instruction before I go out there and pretend to lead that choir. Normally I could act it, but this is the Mormon Tabernacle Choir out there. They deserve more than just some actor faking it. They deserve the best that I can give them, even if it's only for a movie. Is there some way you can help me? And that's when they called in Gerald Otley, the choir's conductor at the time, to give Stewart some pointers. Now, the choir here is singing Leroy Anderson's classic Christmas song, Sleigh Ride, which is one of my favorites. Now, this is one of Mr. Krueger's many hallucinations. And according to the MayoClinic.com, hallucinations, that's a sign of late-stage Parkinson's. Also explains his shaky conducting, lack of balance. He might even have schizophrenia. I see this film as a cry for help. Something could be seriously wrong with our protagonist, and no one cares. My goodness. Now, most of these extras that we see here are members of the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, and they're not going to help Willy. No, he's what a shame. He needs help. And look at this, elder abuse. They're pelting him with snowballs, a psychologically disturbed elder, and they're just nailing him. And now look at this equine abuse. Mr. Krueger is viciously whipping a defenseless, enslaved horse. This short has absolutely no shame. Mr. Krueger is on the loose. He's hallucinating. He's out of control. He needs help. Someone needs to call the police and issue a silver alert. Like Amber Alerts, but for seniors. And why is he always fantasizing that he's the center of attention? That's exactly what President Benson warned us about in the Pride cycle, which is why my fantasies always center around me going to the temple and doing thousands upon thousands of baptisms for the dead. And I sure hope one of those choir members gives Willy a missionary referral card, or this whole short is for naught. What a tyrant. He's always fantasizing about controlling other people. Hey, Willy, just because you wave your arms around doesn't mean people have to start singing. Down with the patriarchy. Man, there sure are a lot of white and delightsome Mormons in Salt Lake City, by the way. The more that I think about it, the more I think Willy should be on an LDS senior mission, not squandering his life away imagining far-fetched musical fantasies. Lengthen your stride, Mr. Krueger. Now, in all seriousness, this clapping scene was unscripted and genuine, so they kept it in the film. I just love those blue outfits that those ladies are wearing. That is absolutely great. But seriously, Mr. Krueger, he has a hallucination within a hallucination. While he's conducting, he's hallucinating about being out on a horse. This movie is more confusing than Inception. Okay, I guess we're back. Hey, wake up, Gramps. Take your medicine and get a clue, dude. And shave your face, for crying out loud.
Hello there. Merry Christmas. Merry.
Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Down here.
Hello.
What is wanted?
What are you doing down there?
Down here, I'm looking for messengers from my father. But before you ask, yes, I have money that is sufficient for my needs.
I live here.
Oh,
Wouldn't you like to come in? It's warm, and I'll make you some chocolate.
well, we're caroling, and we really... just a minute.
Hey, any of you whack jobs recognize this guy from the post office most wanted photos? No? Okay, then.
Why, thank you, Mr...
Krueger, Willy Krueger. I'm the custodian here.
Oh, how nice.
Oh. How about that? We're going to have company.
If Willy ever wants to become a stake president, he's going to need a better job than the custodian of the Beck Apartments.
Christ is born in Bethlehem. Hark the herald angels sing, glory to the newborn King.
Excuse me, it's called consent, dude, which is necessary before initiating physical or sexual contact. Thank God this movie was made before the Me Too movement. My goodness, it's time for cancel culture to catch up with Jimmy Stewart. You know, that little girl, I'd be nervous too if I saw what this perverted grandpa just did to that lady.
Night that was so deep, nowhere lower, born is the King of Israel.
Well, a key change between verses? That's weird. Stalker much? My goodness. Creepy.
We have to go now. Merry Christmas.
Come on, just a few seconds.
Well, that's all right. I was going to rearrange it like that anyway.
Another key change? Another key change?
Don't go. I'm going to make some chocolate for you. I have a new Christmas album. Wouldn't you like to hear it?
Absolutely not, unless you have that new Christmas album by Kanye. Now, this short originally had commercial breaks in it for TV, by the way.
Yeah, I guess you're right, George. We better trim that tree. If we don't hurry, we'll be too late.
George the cat obviously fulfills Willy's need for companionship. Now, this is the first song that we're hearing here with full orchestral accompaniment. And do you ever notice that Mr. Krueger, who's about to go into yet another hallucination, that he's always mute in his fantasies? But when it comes to Christmas songs, absolutely no one beats the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Excuse me, no, they've been renamed the Tab Cats. Now, let's talk about the little girl here who makes her appearance in most of the movie. Now, her name is Clarissa. And according to the director, Clarissa, who's played by Kami Elisa, was charming, darling, infectious, precocious, and anything but shy. And is this a good time to remind you, by the way, that according to the Mayo Clinic, frequent and persistent hallucinations can be the sign of psychosis? Okay, sorry, probably shouldn't bring that up. Now, Willy, he's just a little too obsessed with Clarissa. You know, but when it comes to hanging out with unmarried girls, Willy is just following Joseph Smith's prophetic example, so I guess it's no big deal. Not sure. It's definitely the Mormon way, though. That much I know for a certainty. Now, the dancing scene that we see here coming up here, these dancers are courtesy of the BYU dance department. Now, here we see one man with two women. That's definitely the Mormon way, folks. Very inspiring stuff. It's nice to see a church video finally openly embracing polygamy. You know, in fact, there's a good ratio of women to men in all of these dance scenes. It's at least 3 women to every 1 man. And that's the way things ought to be. My understanding is that according to church doctrine, that's the way that heaven will look like too. Not sure. It's at least 3 to 1 women to men. You know, I'm going to have to ask my gospel doctrine teacher about that this Sunday. I'm not really sure about that. But since Willy's not married, I guess he's only going to be a ministering servant in heaven. Yeah, I'm not really sure too about that. I really doubt that in heaven, Mr. Krueger is going to get his own planet. I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and he just doesn't seem like planet managerial material. I don't know. That could be, call it ageism, if you will. Now, Mr. Krueger's Christmas, it was shot on only in a very small budget over the course of only 12 days. It was a very modest endeavor. Now, even in Willy's fantasies, he's left all alone. That truly is kind of sad. He always seems to be by himself, very lonely.
Oh, and Mrs. McLean clanking on the pipes again. She'd freeze to death in the Sahara Desert. Well, no matter. We can't let anybody be uncomfortable on Christmas Eve, can we, George? So you take care of things around here, I'll stoke the furnace. I'm coming! I'm coming!
All of these outdoor Salt Lake City scenes, they've all been bulldozed to make way for the celestially inspired City Creek Mall, the only mall officially commissioned by the Savior himself. And at $2 billion, it was quite a bargain. Hashtag, let's go shopping.
Well, that ought to hold them for a while. Hey, well, you're not going to sleep on me, are you, George? You're going to leave me all by myself on Christmas Eve?
Ooh, Clarissa left her little gloves behind. Finders, keepers. You know, possession is 9/10 of the law. I sense something coming up here. Let's do the time warp again. Oh, sorry. Wrong movie. Wrong review. Now, this particular soundtrack that we're hearing here was also used in the Children of Promise film strip, which I reviewed back in episode 49. Now, a live nativity in the basement of the Beck Apartments on Christmas Eve. Boy, what are the odds? Now, I do like the song selection here. What Child Is This? That's very, very nice. Now, Jimmy Stewart was insistent that the directors shoot this particular scene in one take. He said, quote, "For me, this scene and these words are very personal and very real, and I will not be able to do it twice," end quote, Stewart said. Now, he was a devout Presbyterian. Now, I guess he never got the memo about what Joseph Smith said about Presbyterianism. You'll have to look that one up on your own. That's good stuff.
Oh, you're... I'm Willy Krueger. I'm custodian over at the Beck Apartments. But you know that, don't you? You know that.
Wait a minute. Mr. Krueger is one of the biblical wise men. You know what? I guess wise men aren't all they're cracked up to be.
I guess nobody here can see me or hear me except you. I didn't bring a gift. But I guess that's not important.
Now, this is the only hallucination in which Mr. Krueger can actually speak. But it's not important that he brings a gift. I don't think so, buddy. If you don't bring financial gifts to Baby Jesus Church, you're going to be burned by fire when he comes again. So I'd say that's pretty important.
Thank you for everything you've done for me. As long as I can remember, you've been right by my side. I'll never forget when you walked with me right in those first few hours after I lost Martha.
And I'll never forget that time you helped me find my lost car keys. Gee whiz, you saved me like $120 on a locksmith.
I've always been able to count on you when I felt dark inside and when you were right there, right every time. Right there. Even when I didn't feel good about myself, I knew that you cared for me enough. That made me feel better. Like the time I got mad with Mabel Huntington because she broke her pipes on purpose, just so she could have somebody to see while I came up and fixed them for her. Boy, I hollered at her like, boy, I hollered real loud. But then I got to thinking that you loved Mabel just as much as you loved me. And I I should treat her the way you want me to. I believe I talked to you about that at the time. I started visiting her and we became friends.
Ooh, third potential polygamous wife. Nice. Correction, excuse me. Correction. Third potential law of celestial marriage wife. Big difference.
I saw her almost every day until the day she died.
Little known fact, I did look this up. Mabel Huntington was one of Thomas Monson's famous widows. And after Mr. Krueger was done screaming at her, President Monson gave the custodian a stern talking to. You know what? Willie, he almost got disfellowshipped.
I love you. You're my closest, my finest friend. And that means that I can hold my head high wherever I go.
Closest friend? Hey, what about George?
Thank you.
You know, this scene really reminds me of that final scene in 2001, A Space Odyssey. You know what? I think they used the same baby for both movies.
Oh,
I'm terribly sorry to bother you, Mr.
Krueger. No, it's no trouble at all. Come on in. Do you want me to make the chocolate now?
Oh, no.
Where are the others?
They're coming. Did Clarissa leave her mittens here?
Oh, yes. Yes, they're right here.
You want them on the Christmas tree?
She is so adorable.
You remind me of everything good about Christmas. I just couldn't think of a better place. Here. There you are.
Thank you, Mr. Krueger.
Oh,
Come on.
wait. Just, I have something for Clarissa.
Yeah, Mr. Krueger's got something for Clarissa. An autographed copy of Sandra and Gerald Tanner's Mormonism, Shadow or Reality. Boy, oh boy, I bet she's going to enjoy reading that.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
That's very nice.
Why didn't you come sing with us?
Clarissa? He has things to do, I'm sure. Now, come on. She's just excited by Christmas.
Oh, please won't you come sing with us?
Oh, I think I'd better stay and keep George company.
Good night.
Who's George?
George is my cat.
But he's asleep.
You know, Mr. Krueger, we really could use a good bass. But you don't by any chance sing?
Bass? A bass?
We're all going for a turkey dinner afterwards. You'd have to come.
Well, the cat does sleep a long time.
I'll get your coat.
How exciting! First caroling, then dinner, then who knows, maybe the second anointing. You know, it'll feel so good once Willie is cleansed from the blood and sins of this generation. Now, this short was first broadcast on NBC on December 21st, 1980, and someone wondered why Stewart agreed to do it. And he explained in a press conference, and he was simple and to the point when he was asked, and he said he wanted to do a film that was off Hollywood. He said, quote, "I like the script. I like the message. I thought it was time we needed something like this," end quote. And by the way, the end is narrated by the famous LDS actor Gordon Jump.
I love you, Mr. Krueger.
I love you. That's what Christmas is all about. Clarissa said it to Mr. Krueger. Mr. Krueger said it to Jesus. And Jesus, in so many ways, has said it to all of us.
Now, upon completion of the film, N. Eldon Tanner of the First Presidency presented Stewart with a leather-bound book of his genealogy. And James Stewart eventually donated all of his papers and memorabilia, not just about this film, but his entire filmic collection to Brigham Young University. James Stewart died on 1997 of a blood clot. Now, the church, you can still purchase a Mr. Krueger Christmas 25th anniversary special starring Jimmy Stewart and the Mormon Tabernacle Choir. Additional features include the restoration and the nativity. Now, some final thoughts. As a man of faith, Stewart played the venerable Mr. Krueger and spoke highly of the TV special, saying he hoped it would help promote the true meaning of that holiday in remembering Christ's birth. This has always been a great film to watch around the holidays. It's charming and magical. Jimmy Stewart will always be an honorary Mormon. And I looked it up on my premium account on Ancestry.com, and I'm just relieved that Stewart's temple work has been done not just one time in the temple, but 3 different times, just to be sure. #CovenantPath. Now, thanks so much for joining me to review this film. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And join us next time for another episode of the Mormon Movie Reviews, where LDS movie lovers belong, where we will review Joseph Smith, the Man. So long.